nature of movies is always the same thing, is how do you get people to feel personally invested in the film they're seeing? How do you get them in there so that they honestly feel as though, man, I'm really glad I came in and saw this movie. It got me involved in it some way. Angels and Demons is one of those movies that's going to shoot for that high ground.
Day one, I've been anticipating this for a while. It's directorially yet another kind of challenge for me. It's this very ultra-modern thriller, very contemporary. It has a look and a feel that while we share Robert Langdon and we share the mysteries of the church and code breaking and that sort of thing, stylistically, it's just a completely different movie than the Da Vinci Code was. And so it's interesting, energetic, and we're all having fun here on the first one.
Piazza del Popolo.
Action! Action!
Fourth movie with Ron Howard. Either I'm being rewarded or he's being punished. I'm not sure what it is.
Bravo! Bravo!
It's absolutely magical. I've been here many, many times. Of course, writing the book, I was here. But to be back and see Robert Langdon actually across the piazza is a real thrill.
We're at the historic, magnificently historic Pantheon. And we started shooting when there were only a few civilians here, and we had our extras. And now we have thousands. And some of them are getting into our background, and others are very kindly staying out of our way while we shoot this kind of impossible logistical circumstance.
Today we are busting out Galileo's poem for the first time, out of his Dialogo de Veritas, the Dialogue of Truth. We've got the whole movie is right in this one little clue. From Santi's earthly tomb with Demon's Hole, across Rome.
And action!
The mystic's elements unfold. The path of light, Illuminati, is laid. A sacred test. Let angels, there's one right up there, guide you on your earthly quest. Of the earth, you see. So there you go.
We spent 6 weeks or so in Rome, and we also had to build over 100 sets in Los Angeles.
It's not easy to make these types of movies. It is a huge kind of engineering feat that is required. You got to go places, you got to build things, but you also have to have a vision for how to bust open a genre version of making this movie so that it becomes very personable and very, very palatable. When you're rebuilding and recreating the Sistine Chapel, you're in the high country there when it comes down to the art directions. That alone could make it impossible in order to make this film. You could say, well, look, we're going to pretend the College of the Cardinals doesn't take place in the Sistine Chapel. It takes place in a place in Glendale that looks kind of ornate and could go for that. Well, there's no point in doing Angels and Demons if you're going to be scrimping on that version of it. I think Ron is making more complicated, more dense movies as time goes by. He's got his team, he's got his craftspeople, he's got all the people that he's worked with. And I find they're all pushing themselves even harder than they did when we did it just 3 years ago on the Da Vinci Code.
Costume design on a movie like this is a tremendous challenge. You sort of might discount it and say, well, it's only one day. Only one day is the hardest thing you can say to a costume designer, because every look has to tell you a number of things about each character. When you get into the clothing of the church, there are so many possibilities. So Daniel Orlandi really had his work cut out for him.
We had to recreate the Pope's funeral. 185 cardinals in funeral garb, the pallbearers, the Swiss Guard, the monks, the priests, the bishops, the patriarchs from the Eastern Orthodox religions, all of the dignitaries that came to the funeral. Every single one of those extras had to be dressed. And so we're talking about 2,000 extras just for that sequence. You can't do a film of this caliber by yourself. So we had a team in Italy, and we had a great team here in LA. You need a lot of people to get that accomplished. As with the prop people, as with the set decorator, we all have to be a team and work together, so it's this cohesive look of recreating this massive undertaking. When we see all of our cardinals hanging together, you can see how they all have all individually made lace cotas, and all the different styles of lace. One of the other things that we had to do was, in our research, we had to have a new pope being crowned. So we had this beautiful, intricately done mitre for the pope. It's all hand embroidered with the lappets in the back. One of the other pieces that the new pope wears is a stole, all hand embroidered, made in Italy. Ewan McGregor's cassock we had made in Rome, of the most beautiful wool that had this sheen. We wanted to give him some authority because he's just a priest who has taken on this huge role at the Vatican, which normally would be a bishop or a cardinal. So we wanted to give him some authority with the capelet and the hand-embroidered buttons.
It's quite a powerful costume to wear. We give it a great deal of reverence, that look. So it gives you what you need in terms of kind of a still power, if you like, that I think he has. And that kind of holy, slightly above everyone else feeling comes from the cassock as well, I think.
It takes a lot of research and talking about how do we do the Pope's funeral, how do we do the conclave, who runs around the Vatican, where are the Swiss Guard, where are the Vatican gendarmes, where are the lay people, and learning all of that inner workings of the Vatican.
Cinematographer Salvatore Totino and I have now collaborated on, I guess, 5 films in a row. And each and every one has challenged us in a different way, demanding a different visual approach. In Angels and Demons, we wanted a kind of a 70s energy, that sort of street movie. I wanted it to have an immediacy, a kind of a chaotic feel, and a kind of a coolness, a kind of a unself-conscious, cool, stylish feel. Unself-conscious and cool and stylish, that's kind of Sal Totino. So he hit the ground running and just shot the hell out of this movie.
Red flames!
In prep, we brought in Bob Yerkes, who was playing the Cardinal, and we suspended him. So we had to test the drop with the Cardinal, and we had to just figure out what's comfortable, what's not comfortable for him, how close he could get to the fire, since he was barefooted, and we couldn't see that he was wearing any fire gel. So he actually had to be as close to the fire as possible without being too hot that he couldn't stand it. So there's a moment in the script where Tom actually releases the Cardinal a little bit with one arm, and then the men that are holding the bench that he's on get shot and release the tension on the bench, therefore sending it down, and Langdon falls off and tumbles, therefore leaving the chain to fall and the Cardinal to fall into the fire. 3, 2, 1, go! Tom's been doing a lot of his own stunts. He's game to do anything. He's very into the role, definitely.
I get to set myself on fire at the end, which is quite a good exit from a movie, I think.
On my go, and 3, 2, 1, go!
There are ways to leave a film, but I've never had one quite as spectacular as setting yourself alight with lamp oil. And I don't know that I'll ever get a chance to do that again, you know what I mean? It might be a one-off that in my career, so I enjoyed that as well.
For me, every film has a different set of values. I think it always begins with character and relating to what the characters are going through. As a director, I'm always interested in just trying to fulfill the potential of each individual film. What does it have to offer? Once I understand it, then I can share it.